Blows getting through cleanly and sharply. The left that snapped Espana's head back, and another left and a right, and they came in profusion. You have to be impressed with Hilmer Kenty's speed of hands and the speed of feet too. And that was it. Red Detroit kid, the Motor City.
On the ring, I do anything to win. If I might have to bite his ear, I bite his ear. You know, this ain't no talk, this ain't no joke. This is for real.
I didn't mean it as trying to be cocky. It was just, but I felt this. I told Bramwell there was no way you were going to beat me in Buffalo.
And in tonight's first championship fight, Johnny Bump City Bumphus defends his WBA junior welterweight title against Fort Worth's Gene Mad Dog Hatcher. Exclusive coverage of these two great world title bouts.
He likes to pressure fighters, get on the inside, see if he can work the body and the head. He will attempt to do that against Mancini tonight. The question is, how effective will he be in that posture against Mancini, who's a shorter man and likes to fight in the trenches?
Tonight, we have an 18-foot ring, which would seem to be made for Mancini. Is that the way you see it?
Well, Ray Mancini certainly wants to wage this fight on the inside. He likes to battle the body and the head. And as we see against Arturo Frias when he won the title, he likes to get inside and bang away, sometimes taking more punches than he would like. Against Bramble tonight, the key, can he get inside without taking those counter shots? It's important for Mancini to get in without getting hurt.
Before we go to that fight, of course, we've got Johnny Bumphus, who is considered one of the great prospects for the 1980 Olympics. Did not get there, against Gene Mad Dog Hatcher, who is not a bad prospect at that time himself.
Well, what makes this fight interesting is the matchup in style. As Bumphus, a tall, lanky southpaw, excellent boxer, good hand and foot speed, and Gene Hatcher, a walk-in fighter who likes to be aggressive, so it should be a good matchup.
We'll find out more about that. Al will be talking with both of them in a short time. Right now, these messages of interest to you.
His WBA junior welterweight title from Lorenzo Garcia, it might not have been his best effort. And during the fight, his trainer, Georgie Benton, told him, you'll win this time, you'll look good the next time out. Well, the next time is here in his first title defense against Gene Hatcher. And he is down here in Pasadena, Texas, near Houston, preparing for that battle.
Virtually unknown Garcia surprised Bumphus and the boxing world by flooring Johnny in the fourth round. Bumphus got up and controlled the fight to win a unanimous 15-round decision, but it was not a vintage Bumphus performance. Johnny's normally brilliant hand speed and punching accuracy were less than awesome. He'll have to do better against the rugged Hatcher.
This fight against Gene Hatcher is one that I think I'll be superb in because he's made to order for me. He comes right in. His defense is not the greatest. I'm not taking him lightly. I know he's a strong, durable fighter, but I do believe that I can take him out.
A champion as an amateur and now a pro, Bumphus still feels he has to beat Hatcher decisively to earn respect as one of boxing's best.
I am the world champion. That will always be in the record books, and what the people say is another thing. But as far as my wanting their recognition and acceptance as a champion, I do want that, and I plan to prove myself worthy of a champion so I can get respect.
Here at David Gorman's gym in Fort Worth, Texas, they have already produced one champion. That would be WBA welterweight king Donald Curry. Gene Hatcher would like to be the second by beating Johnny Bumphus. And strangely enough, it was his worst break in boxing that led him to this title opportunity.
Hatcher missed out on a nationally televised fight with Howard Davis Jr. when in the last minute of the final sparring session, he suffered a cut over his left eye. The eye is healed now, and ironically, that cancellation created tonight's title shot.
Seemed like for the last 2 years I've been coming up with big fights, and it seems like something, you know, would always happen right before the fight or something. And we just thought, are we supposed to be in this game, you know? And then, you know, the clouds lifted in the sunshine. We're sitting here for a title shot. So the way I look at Johnny Bumphus is he's a good, durable champion, but I think that he's taken too big a step by making me his first challenge.
For Gene Hatcher, the road to a title shot has not been easy, but he believes his non-stop attack will make the trip pay off tonight with an upset win over Johnny Bumphus.
Al, the noise seems deafening here in Buffalo, neither fighter from Buffalo. What do you make of this first one?
Well, they both have something to prove. Bumphus would like to atone for the bad performance against Lorenzo Garcia, even though he won. Gene Hatcher, in his first title shot, wants to make it a good one.
And we should have exactly that. I want to tell you now, Cat Sports Night of Champions will continue after this message from your local stations.
And now, ladies and gentlemen, the city of Buffalo, New York is talking proud because tonight from the War Memorial Auditorium here in Buffalo, the whole world is going to see championship boxing. And now, man your battle stations, we are going to war. 15 rounds for the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship of the world. The referee for this contest is Johnny Lobianco. And now introducing first, in the blue corner, weighing 139 1/2 pounds, his record an outstanding one. 21 victories, only 2 losses, 17 by knockout. From Fort Worth, Texas, the challenger, Gene Mad Dog Hatcher. And in the red corner, he weighs 139 1/2 pounds in the red trunks with gold trim. He's undefeated in 22 consecutive bouts. Ladies and gentlemen, from Passaic, New Jersey, the WBA Junior Welterweight Champion of the World, Johnny Bump City Bumphus.
I had been told that Hatcher was practically adopted by the city of Buffalo, but I thought Bumphus got equally as rousing a cheer when he was introduced. You see Bumphus with his back to you, and the gray, silver-haired man, really, Lou Duva. That's Gene Mad Dog Hatcher. Al, this is the chance of a lifetime for the kid.
It is indeed. He suffered some disappointments, lost a big fight with Howard Davis because of a cut eye. It turned into this, which was fortuitous for him, a title shot.
Lou Duva, big night for Lou. He has a defending champion, and he has a man challenging for the championship. This defending champion, Johnny Bumphus, originally from Tacoma, Washington.
No questions involved.
And the
Your professional
instructions
fighters
by
are
Johnny
champion. Act
Lobianco.
like
Let's
it in
listen.
the ring. Shake hands now. Come out at the bell. When I will tell you to come out of the corner. Good luck to both of you.
Bumphus 23, Hatcher 24. You can read the rest. Bumphus, 6 feet tall, has a 4-inch height advantage, but only a 4-inch advantage in reach.
And he'll have to use that reach advantage against Hatcher because Gene will try and work inside on him.
Bumphus with that educated right hand. He is considered one of the master mechanics in boxing. He can box beautifully. The biggest question is, can he withstand the pressure of Gene Mad Dog Hatcher?
We mentioned the 18-foot ring at the outset as it relates to Mancini, but it is going to have even a bigger impact than this fight. Hatcher is delighted, I think, that this ring is 18 feet. That's relatively small, and he thinks that will cut down on the foot speed and mobility of Bumphus.
Notice that Hatcher, Al, has come out immediately going for the body. A tentative jab, but the hook to the body, the right to the body, apparently he figures the wasp waist of Bumphus is vulnerable.
Gene Hatcher will go to the body mostly over the first 7 rounds. That's his battle plan. He thinks he can hurt Bumphus there early and then get him in the later rounds when he goes to the head.
How right does Bumphus go to the right-hand stance when he's a natural lefty?
Well, he does switch from time to time in fights, and in training when we were in Houston, we saw him doing that often, Bill. He may see something in Hatcher's style that he feels he can exploit.
Very thin, spindly-legged, but don't get fooled by that as he goes to the left-hand style. There's a fighter named Joe Sandy Sadler who also had spindly legs but was tough. Hatcher, combative, likes to walk in, taking his time though. This one has 15 rounds to go. We are in the first round. Delighted to bring you this night of champions, Cat Sports, with 1.5 minutes in the first round. He hit him on the hip with that one.
In this this first round, Johnny Bumphus has given us much less foot movement than we expected. That may change, but he is standing in with Hatcher, a little bit of a surprise. Gene is, by the way, a notoriously slow starter. So this is a better first round, probably, than he imagined he would have against Bumphus. He is getting to the body, and that one stunned Johnny Bumphus. It looked like it hurt him a little bit.
Really did. A right hand, and it did. That's his plan, obviously, to go to the body.
He's a very good body puncher, and he feels that's his meal ticket in this fight. And so far in the first round, it's proving out for him.
Bumphus, who works from lefty and righty both, has a quick head, keeps his hands low, obviously thinking his head is fast enough to avoid punches. He didn't too there.
Gene Hatcher must move his head well coming in, and so far in this first round, he's doing it and slipping the jab of Bumphus.
Took a good left cross, though, did Hatcher from Bumphus. Good puncher, Bumphus, Al.
A fairly good puncher, not a devastating one-punch knockout artist, though.
We may have lost sound, folks, but I can hear myself, so I assume you're there, too. Okay, Hatcher trying to get Bumphus against the ropes. Corner, hit him with a good right lead. And there's the bell to end round number 1. 15-rounder, and one thing Bumphus discovered is that Hatcher has a sneak right hand and can hurt him with it. That is usually described as the way to fight a lefty is hit him with a right hand, but a lot of guys use a left hook to do it, Al. I
think Hatcher would rather step outside the right foot of Bumphus and whack away with the left hook to the body and the head, but the right was open for him, so he used it there. I think that was not a good first round for Johnny Bumphus for a variety of reasons. Well, slipped by Hatcher. Not just because Hatcher won the round.
Counted it a knockdown.
No, that can't possibly be. That's a knockdown?
He counted it as a knockdown, which is a surprise even to Lou Duva, who's got Bumphus, who's got a big grin on his face. It looked more like a slip. But John LWWC said it was a knockdown.
That's nothing short of astonishing to me. Hatcher didn't argue that much, and I'm surprised.
Bumphus trying to control him on the inside, which is surprising. You would expect Bumphus to work at long range with that right hook. And he is very cute and very smart, as less than 2 minutes remain in round number 2 of the scheduled 15-rounder for the Junior Welterweight Championship of the World, WBA style. Again, Bumphus switches left to right to confuse Hatcher. Now he's back to the lefty style.
Johnny Bumphus is landing his jab much better in this round, and he is normally keeping Hatcher at bay with it. Here's where Hatcher wants to be, on the inside. That's where Bumphus will try and hold on, Bill, and wait for the referee to come in.
Bumphus, who is trained by one of the best men in the business, Georgie Benton, knows that his last fight was hardly convincing. But he said, this is the one that he's going to look great in, and we shall see. Hatcher, he says, is made for him because Hatcher keeps coming in. But the Mad Dog has a good chin, maybe a little bit of a quality of cutting, but he is very active, Al.
There's the bell. A minute early.
That was a 2-minute round. We are in our commercial. I hate to say this about a timekeeper, but he's obviously got the lump.
He's out to
The
lunch.
second round was a 2-minute round, and then they cut down the 1-minute rest period. Johnny LWWC worked it. Let's get back to our fight, and we shall see. Hatcher being warned about low blows. Moving it on Bumphus.
You know, you can kid around a little bit about the strange things that happen in fights, but these rounds being shorter than they should be is really wreaking havoc with the tempo of the fighters and the way this fight could go. So unless they get their act straightened out here, these New York officials are going to add to problems for both fighters.
To the point, Al. Exactly. Bumphus, the lefty. Hatcher, the right-handed fighter in the black trunks with a white stripe. I guess Bumphus's color would be called purple with a gold trim. He's the lefty, the defending world champion, WBA Junior Welterweight Champion of the world.
Bill, what Hatcher is doing effectively much earlier in the fight than I think he thought he would is getting inside and being able to work the body of Bumphus. Bumphus is counterpunching fairly well, but I don't think as well as he thought he would against Hatcher.
Let's break clean. Let's break clean.
We have less than 2 minutes remaining in round number 3. And I must tell you, exactly, it's possible. Folks, The time is approximately. Hatcher staying on top of him. Good trying to cut down.
It was a good right by Hatcher, and he followed with the left hook to the body. So he is getting downstairs, but Bumphus counter-punching off the ropes, but that's not where Johnny Bumphus wants to be. He wants to be in the center of the ring, flying around, counter-punching. If he stays inside with Hatcher like this, it could be big problems for him.
Good short left hook, and he pushed Hatcher off. Bumphus, I think, would be a more natural welterweight, but the question is, tonight he's in at 140 pounds, and it may be tough for him, a tall, skinny junior welterweight.
You know, on the inside, Bumphus in this round is punching pretty well, so that's where we expect Hatcher to do well, but the reality is that in this round, Bumphus is scoring well on the inside.
He sure is. And Bumphus doesn't seem reluctant to let him corner him. Now, you want to remember, Bumphus as an amateur was good enough to beat the likes of Ray Mancini and a lot of others, and many people thought he was another Ray Leonard in the making. But in his Lorenzo Garcia win, as we have a half-minute in round number 3, he was not impressive. He is looking to prove to the world that he's a great fighter.
I mentioned Hatcher is a slow starter. Even though he had that good first round, it usually takes him 3 or 4 rounds to pick up the pace, and that's what's happening here in the second and third rounds.
Go! Go! Close the gap! Close the gap!
That is the end of round number 3, and we will be back in just a moment. Cat Sports Night of Champions continues after this message from your local station. LWWC does not have a vote in the scoring of the fight. The judges, Carol Castellano, Harold Letterman, and Louis Rivera do. And Al, as we go along, and the folks can see the picture for themselves, tell us about WBA scoring.
WBA scoring is done on a 10-point must system, and there are 3 judges you mentioned that scored. There's a 3 knockdown rule in effect, and there's no saving by the bell except in the last round. So those are key rules for the fans to remember as this fight goes on.
Obviously, Bumphus does not have a great deal of respect for Mad Dog Hatcher's punching power because he keeps moving towards his right hand. And he's taken those punches and apparently feels he can do it with ease.
Well, what he will find out probably is that Hatcher picks up steam as this fight goes on. This is about the time in the fight, 4th, 5th, 6th round, when Hatcher normally starts to pick up the pace, if he'll do it. Bumphus using his jab very well. There's that right jab again. He is picking off Hatcher pretty well as he's coming in. Gene not giving him as much head movement as he'd like.
Yeah, he has him impaled on that right jab.
But there's where Hatcher wants to be.
They're just above us right now, and Bumphus not worried at all at any stage of this fight about being held against the ropes. He apparently thinks he is stronger than Hatcher.
Hatcher is not working enough when he gets him against the ropes, Bill. You know, Hatcher had a great sparring partner for this fight. Robin Blake, his stablemate, a very fine lightweight who is a left-hander, just like Bumphus, has been sparring with him, so he's gotten a good sparring session for this fight. But right now, Johnny Bumphus is punching actively.
Took a left hook to the chin from Hatcher, but it didn't shake him at all. He has not had any problems with punches, but the accumulation could prove disastrous if he keeps being as lax as he is. As I said to you before, he obviously does not have a great deal of respect for Hatcher's punching power. He's not trying to keep him in the middle of the ring, not trying to use the long reach advantage, and thinks he can outpunch Hatcher as he's doing right now.
The interesting thing is he is fighting Gene Hatcher's fight right now, and he's getting away with it. Whether he will continue remains to be seen, but Johnny Bumphus looking much sharper early than he did in his title win over Lorenzo Garcia.
As you can see in your lower right-hand corner, 45 seconds remaining in round number 4. How do you have it scored so far, Al?
I've got Johnny Bumphus 2 rounds to 1, 28 points to 27.
All right, let's get out. Let's get out. We'll fight.
Remember, no man can receive less than 7 points in a round, no matter what happens. He could be knocked down 8 times. Well, he could, because we have the 3 knockdown rule. But if he goes down twice, he still must get 7 points. But Bumphus is, you know, he's watching a crowd.
Well, he is.
Everybody out there.
He's relaxed. Let me amend that scoring. 39-38 would be the correct, and my arithmetic wasn't quite right. In any case, Bumphus ahead by 1 round.
Bumphus with beautiful footwork, working to either side. We are coming down to the end of round of Gene Hatcher, worked by his father, Ron, and also Joe Barrentes, who they tell me is a first-rate trainer.
He's got a good good team. That's Dave Gorman on the right, his manager, also talking to him. And I think what they want Gene to do is get inside and work more against Bumphus when he's there.
Got to go take him, babe.
This crew not only has Robin Blake, who's a stablemate. That's nice. You get slapped into awakening. But also, one of the great fighters today, Donald Curry, is a stablemate. We are in round number 5. And the fight has moved very swiftly. The action has not been great because, strangely enough, Bumphus showing very little respect for Hatcher's punching power.
Gene does not look like he's in the flow of this fight, and I've seen him this way once before. That was against Alfredo Escalera in Madison Square Garden when he lost to Escalera June 16th, 1983. Some people think that Hatcher got Gardenitis, a little bit tense from that fight, and they were worried that he might freeze up a little bit here tonight. And there's some evidence that he might be doing that. We'll see as this fight goes on.
Excellent point. He looks just that. Very tough. He throws the right hand one time and catches Bumphus right. And it could be curtains for Bumphus. But Bumphus is loose and relaxed and doing everything he wants to do. He's playing with that right jab, using the right cross, and saving, cocking that left hand for whatever purpose he needs it at the time.
Hatcher is not cutting off the ring well, and there, when he has Bumphus against ropes, he's not working hard enough. Those are just pity-pat punches, not the kind of body punches we've seen from Hatcher in the past. Bumphus playing with him right now.
You've heard the expression that Al used, cutting off the ropes. Just remember, if a fighter moves counterclockwise, you cut him off by moving clockwise. If he moves clockwise, you cut him off the other way.
On the inside there, when Hatcher had Bumphus on the ropes, he is just throwing very weak punches. And Hatcher, as I said in the past, I have seen him throw tremendous body shots. Great left hook to the body and right hands, not doing that tonight. And that is what's giving Johnny Bumphus, as you said, the courage to mix it up on the inside with him.
Lower right-hand corner, you can see. 1:17 remains in round number 5, and Bumphus loaded up a little bit more with the right hand, the hook to the head and the hook to the body. But the most impressive part about him is the way he can move and slip punches. Head, body, he doesn't even seem to pick the punches off. He goes left to right so that he gets Hatcher a little confused about how to cut him off.
He looked at tapes of a fight between Gene Hatcher and Tyrone Crawley, in which Crawley outboxed Hatcher, and he saw what he liked what he saw, but right now there's Hatcher on the inside working with him.
Good right hand by Hatcher. Bumphus still has no respect for him, and he may find out that it's not Rodney Dangerfield that he's fighting.
Hatcher did get to him, stunned him with the right hand, and he wants Johnny Bumphus right now. Lobianco can't keep him apart. Hatcher wants to rumble with him.
Less than 20 seconds remaining in round number 5. Junior welterweight championship of the world, Johnny Bumphus, the defending champion, and Gene Hatcher keeping on top of him in the corner. And that's the end of round number 5. Number 6, scheduled for 15, Gene Hatcher, the orthodox style fighter in the black trunks. I said that Bumphus' trunks were purple, but apparently they see them as red in our control point, so I will go with the red. Bumphus, Al, wants to take this man out.
Well, he may be making a mistake by banging with Hatcher. I have never seen any pro hurt Gene Hatcher badly. He's been able to some fairly good punchers. Edward Lugo, who is a fine fighter, a good puncher in any case, couldn't hurt Hatcher. There's a good right by Hatcher.
Oh, he hurt him with the left hand. He hurt Bumphus with a left hook.
When Lorenzo Garcia put Bumphus down early in their fight, it caused many people to question whether Bumphus could take a punch. Hatcher's not a tremendous puncher, but he's got some power.
The thing that impresses me about Hatcher mostly, Al, is that he is a short puncher with either hand. Both the hook and the right hand doesn't waste a tremendous amount of space to deliver them. And Bumphus, who should be able to keep him off with that jab that he's using right now, has decided he wants to impress America with the fact that he is a rough, tough guy.
Well, he's backing himself into the ropes. He's about to do it again, I think. There's the left hand. He gets away from it from Hatcher. That's the big mistake Johnny's making.
Oh, don't shove him. Don't shove him.
Johnny Lobianco, the third man of the ring, has kept them moving all along. Bumphus, who relies on the speed of his head to move away from punches rather than picking them off with his hands, has been caught a few times in this round, but has taken the punches well. he obviously does not have a great deal of respect for Hatcher's punching power.
Gene Hatcher's forgetting the body, Bill. That was his plan. But once he started to hit Bumphus in the head, I think he got enamored with that, and now he is going almost exclusively for Bumphus's head, not his game plan.
It's so easy for fighters to become headhunters. That's the natural tendency, and he's doing it. Less than a minute remains in round number 6.
And it's more of a problem for him because his really best work goes to the body, and Bumphus switches righty. Let's see if he does well from that posture.
Well, he's able to pick off the left hook easier with a right hand than he is the other way. But he's an equally fine-looking fighter either way. The question is that when you look this good, why do you have to show macho?
Well, in the last portion of this round, he has kept the fight in the center of the ring and boxed Hatcher rather effectively, but early Hatcher was able to get to him. Gene Hatcher's looking to load up with one punch. It's not his style, and it is hurting him in this fight.
15 seconds remaining in round number 6 of what has been a very entertaining fight on Cat Sports Night of Champions. And the Cat Sports Night of Champions will continue after this message from your local station. Number 7, forgive me, and Hatcher has a slight nick at the corner of his right eye, the outside corner of the right eye.
And of course, that's something they're very concerned about. Gene, as I mentioned, suffered a cut that caused his fight with Howard Davis to be canceled. It inevitably got him this fight, but that cut could be a problem over the right eye.
You know, there haven't been a great many left-handed champions of the world, but this division, the junior welterweight division, has had quite a few.
Indeed, and Bumphus is anxious to tell people with this performance tonight that he's one of the better ones. Again, we said that his fight against Garcia was a fight that he wasn't that proud of, and he's very anxious to atone for that tonight.
If you were wondering who the two lefties were, Sandro Lopopolo and Bruno Akari.
Only you would know that, Phil. The amazing Major knows that.
2 minutes remaining in round number 7.
I failed the quiz tonight.
No. You know, you have to put that in now. It's a matter of fact.
Bumphus using more foot speed now, Bill. He's trying to keep Hatcher in the center of the ring, hit him from different angles, and give him that good lateral movement that he's known for.
Hatcher, by the way, in the 1980 Olympic trials, was beaten by Davey Moore, who in turn was beaten by Don Curry. Hatcher was the bronze medalist, Moore the silver medalist, and Curry the gold medalist. And I think at this point, Hatcher wishes he could punch like Donald Curry. But he's been a busy fighter.
He's had a hard time keeping Bumphus on the ropes in the last couple rounds, and Gene Hatcher just not very busy at this point in this fight, though. He is not throwing as many punches as he'd like, and Bumphus keeping him on the outside. And I don't think that Johnny Bumphus is fighting extraordinarily well in this fight at this point, but Hatcher has allowed him to get away with it.
Can he go 15 rounds under this kind of pressure? I'm talking about Bumphus.
Well, Hatcher isn't putting all that much on. Early he was. Unless Hatcher can get inside and work the body, Bumphus may well be able to do it at this pace.
Less than 45 seconds remaining in round number 7 of a scheduled 15-rounder from Buffalo's War Memorial Auditorium. Cat Sports Night of Champions. Still to come, Ray Mancini against Livingston Bramble. But this one, a live fight, folks. And what a marvelous return to what I told Al was the fight night in America year after year. Bumphus doing a little bit of antics now. Friday night, traditionally fight night. 10 seconds remaining in the 7th round. Easy working round for Bumphus as Hatcher seems to just be taking his time. Bumphus pulling the old Kid Gavilan trick. We'll be back. Dan Duva and George Benton are the men responsible in the corner for his strategy as we go to round number 8. Bumphus now has decided to box him right-handed. I guess he figures that way he'll confuse Hatcher and maybe be able to use what was a left cross as a left hook, but now he goes back to being a lefty again, and that right hand has been his best punch in the fight.
Hatcher landed a good overhand right there, and it landed on the chin of Bumphus, didn't do too much damage. Gene's best weapon is the left hook, so if he concentrates on that right, I think he's helping Johnny Bumphus out. Hatcher needs to work his jab a little more, Bill. He's not a great jabber, but he needs it to work his way in so he can work to the body.
You're absolutely right. Or else he's got to walk through Bumphus's jab and just get on top of him. Bumphus, though, has been quick enough in this fight so far to not be cornered, at least in the last couple of rounds. In the first round, of course, what Bumphus did was say, hey, you want a slug? I'm here.
But what Hatcher didn't do in those early rounds was work effectively to the body. Gene has thrown so many fewer punches than I've seen him throw in most of his fights, and I've worked maybe 80% of his fights, and normally he is just a whirlwind, constantly throwing punches.
Worried about going 15?
I don't think so. I think it's more a question he's just very tentative in there. Maybe Bumphus hurt him early in this fight. That's what some people wondered about. Could Bumphus stun Hatcher at all? Perhaps he made him respect his power.
Or does he think maybe he can take Bumphus out with one punch and is loading up?
I think that's what he's lulled himself into thinking. It's possible it could happen, but you could lose a fight waiting to do that.
Minute 25 remains in round number 8. Johnny Bumphus in the red trunks. Mad Dog Hatcher from Fort Worth in the black trunks.
Hatcher should be bobbing and weaving and then throwing that left hook to the body. He's just not doing it, and he's capable of it. Bumphus's hand speed has been an important story in this fight. He has used that hand speed to keep Hatcher off and is negating Hatcher trying to get in there.
What's interesting to me, Al, is the fact that Bumphus almost invited him this last time to come on the ropes and fight with him, and Hatcher didn't do it. Bumphus looks in marvelous shape. There's been talk that getting down to this weight is very difficult for him. He's so tall that he would be a much more natural welterweight than a junior welterweight. But so far tonight, he has not had problems. I mean, in every fight, you're going to get hit a bomb once in a while, but they don't seem to have affected him.
And he's moving now much more than he did in the first couple of rounds. And because of that, he's able to hit Hatcher from different angles and stay away from those body shots.
Coming down to the end of round number 8. We'll be back with the 9th round.
Mr. Will.
Round number 9, scheduled for 15, the WBA Junior Welterweight Championship of the World. How do you have it so far, Al?
I've got the fight 89-84 for Johnny Bumphus. I think he's built up a pretty large margin with the boxing and that right jab that you see right there.
He did some marvelous maneuvering to get off the ropes, but he got hit with one punch. He's a very, very skillful defensive mechanic, but even the best of them, the Holly Mims, the George Bentons, if they get hit to the body, are going to be hurt. And that time, Hatcher hit him hard enough so that we got the spray right here.
Gene Hatcher is starting to work when he gets Bumphus against the ropes, even though Johnny did a wonderful job of getting off those ropes earlier. Hatcher's just got to throw a lot of punches when he gets inside against Bumphus. Hasn't been doing that. Now there, that's where Hatcher's got to work. Bumphus ties him up very well, and Lobianco comes in.
The defending WBA Junior Welterweight Champion is Johnny Bumphus. He, the man in the red trunks, Mad Dog Hatcher with a mustache, crowding him now. See if he can corner him.
Bumphus threw a couple of good left hooks a moment ago to the body, but there's that Bumphus jab. It's not always landing, but he's keeping Hatcher at bay and preventing him from getting into his rhythm. This is what Hatcher needs to do. He gets inside, he's banging the body over the long haul. He thinks that'll have an impact over 15 rounds.
He's gone back to what he did in the early round.
Exactly. And it's been effective for most of this round.
Used a pretty good jab that time, did Hatcher.
And that's when he needs to work his way in. And there he used the left hook, but Bumphus, the hand speed.
Bumphus looks like he might have hurt him with a one left hook. It's hard to differentiate with Bumphus because he changes styles, whether he's hooking or crossing, but either way they hurt. And I think you made a telling point. He may have scored on Hatcher early and gained a lot of respect.
It's conceivable. Certainly Gene is a little more tentative than you would expect him to be in coming in. Gene has made it, one of the errors Gene has made in this fight is he's not giving enough head movement as he's coming into Hatcher, and he's getting hit with more punches because of it. Here's where Gene has to go to work.
Loading up too much.
That's right. He should be throwing combinations, which he's capable of doing.
They're both above us right now. You can listen to this gratuitous advice right here.
I think they get better advice from their corners, though.
Less than 25 seconds remaining in round number 9. Scheduled 15-rounder, Johnny Bumphus and Gene Mad Dog Hatcher. They're just above us right now. Bumphus spinning him towards the middle. Cat Sports Night of Champions will continue after this message from your local station. I want to remind you again, the man in the middle, Johnny Lobianco, does not have a vote in this fight. Carol Castellani, Louis Rivera, and Harold Letterman are the only ones who contribute votes in the fight. The 3 judges, that's a WBA ruling. He's still sticking him with that left hand. In the 10th round, Mad Dog Hatcher, a little bit behind by Al Bernstein's scorecard, has got to start crowding the man and making his bid for a championship. You don't get too many of these in a lifetime.
Indeed, in the last round, I thought Hatcher did start to come on a bit. That was maybe his best round in the last 4 or 5, and he was able to work the body a little of Hatcher, but he did take a lot of those counter punches from Bumphus.
Hatcher now trying to walk through that right jab, just literally walk through it and score telling blows. But those who were saying that Bumphus did not take a great punch may have to change their minds. He's been hit a couple of shots tonight without any great telling effect. Less than 2 minutes remaining in the 10th round.
Gene Hatcher is making one very big tactical error. He is keeping his left foot on the inside of the right foot of Johnny Bumphus. He should be getting on the outside and throwing the left hook to the body and the head of Bumphus. See, his left foot is on the inside of Bumphus's. He's trying to get it on the outside, but it's not getting there. And Bumphus is able to elude those punches.
Quick foot speed by Bumphus. You know, strange. He's very gangly looking, and because of that, you don't get an impression of speed. But he's up on his toes, and he can move, and he's smart. Smart, good left jab, good right cross, and probably on his way to the welterweight division very shortly.
And that will be where we will get a better test, I think, of his ability to take a punch from the bigger man. Gene Hatcher reduced now to lunging with those punches. He's not gotten into the rhythm of this fight working like he wants. Never has been able to do that.
Bumphus anticipated is coming in with a right and is using that left uppercut. Remember that Bumphus comes from the Tacoma stable that produced Davey Armstrong, Sugar Ray Seals, Leo Randolph, Rocky Lockridge, good fighters.
And added to that amateur tutelage by going down and training under Clint Jackson in Nashville, where he worked as a deputy sheriff. So he's got good amateur training. Right now, as a pro, he is doing a job on Gene Hatcher.
One thing you want to notice about Bumphus, his eyes never close. There are some fighters who close their eyes. His eyes are wide all the time, looking, picking the man off with a jab. And now he goes to the righty style, the lefty style. He's just got Hatcher confused, except that Hatcher used the good punch, the left hook to the body. Good right hook by Bumphus, but he took a right. And the crowd comes alive.
Some extracurricular activity after the bell. Watch what happens. Lobianco trying to get in between the fighters at the bell. They kept punching. Johnny Lobianco went down. Bumphus going after Hatcher. A melee. Eventually, the cornerman had to come in to try and stop it. That was Lou Duva stepping in. So, frustration, I think, on the part of Gene Hatcher evident there.
He may think that's his best approach to Bumphus. To get Lobianco between him and start belling him.
Used him as a screen, I guess.
He did. Hatcher comes charging out of his corner at Bumphus, apparently invigorated by the ending of that 10th round. This is round number 11, scheduled for 15, and they told Hatcher that he's behind and he's got to get going. He's staying on top of Bumphus, who wants to fight him inside.
Oh, they are banging away inside, and Johnny Bumphus decides he's going to go after Hatcher. An interesting, though maybe not prudent strategy at this point.
Hatcher thumbing him with his glove. There obviously is no love lost.
You know, it's interesting. These two fighters actually are very gentlemanly outside the ring. They have been cordial to each other leading up to this fight, unlike Bramble and Mancini, who we'll see later. But yet, feelings have erupted here in this round, and Bumphus out working on the inside Hatcher working against Bumphus on the inside. Bumphus could be making making a big mistake, rumbling on the inside with Hatcher here in the 11th. We'll see.
Here's Sixer right now. Bumphus has gone back to doing what he did in the early rounds when he virtually said to Hatcher, you cannot hurt me. I'll fight you any way you want to.
Hatcher has what he wants right now, but he didn't make the most of it. He landed some good shots, but so did Bumphus. Good left hook. That hurt Johnny Bumphus. That hurt him.
Got him in trouble.
He's in some trouble. That left hook hurt him. Can Hatcher follow up, Bill? That's the question. Does he know how hurt Bumphus was by that?
Looking at Bumphus closely as we are, he took another right, and Hatcher's on top of him.
Here is where Gene Hatcher should go downstairs also, Bill. It would set up the shots to the head.
He didn't hear you. He's teeing off with the right hand, and Bumphus is going back at him.
Boy, Hatcher just stopped punching there for a moment. Bumphus took advantage, so Johnny may have cleared his head. Some trouble here in round 11 for Johnny Bumphus, but he is...
Oh, he's down! Bumphus went down. He may not be able to get up. His legs are twitching. He is in desperate trouble.
Gene Hatcher celebrating.
Hatcher celebrating, and he came out of the neutral corner. Bumphus is on Queer Street. He may be done. He's down again. Remember, and he goes down. It was not counted a knockdown, and the referee LWWC pushed him so hard, Bumphus almost went out. Hey, Lou Duva in the corner yelling at Bumphus.
LWWC has lost control of this fight. He never made a call on that. Bumphus in all kinds of trouble, trying to hold on. But is LWWC stopping this?
LWWC has stopped it. He has stopped it. We have a new junior welterweight champion.
But Bumphus is hurt. There's no question about that. But Lou Duva's incensed. Gene Hatcher is the new champion, but Lou Duva and his people are not happy about it. Lou Duva is being restrained in the ring. This is not a good scene. Johnny Bumphus wants to get at the officials or Gene Hatcher.
Lou Duva, I don't know whether you can see him. No, you can't. Lou Duva is at Johnny LWWC's side. You're looking at Ron Hatcher, the father of Gene Hatcher, and one shot, one loaded shot, took Bumphus out. An absolutely stunning ending. Duva now has to be restrained by his son Dan. He is angry. You can see the scene.
To reset that, there's no question Bumphus was hurt. He went to the canvas several times. The first one certainly a knockout, but the second perhaps questionable.
And you go on up to the ring, and we'll take it. It is a wild scene as Gene Hatcher's wife and son are in the ring with him. Gene Hatcher has become the new WBA junior welterweight champion of the world. And momentarily, Al Bernstein will be in the ring with the winner. Johnny Bumphus gambled, decided he was going to match punch for punch with Hatcher, and in the end, it cost him. So now, here we go. You've seen the kiss of the wife. Now let's see what did it to Bumphus. Hatcher using the bob and weave style, left hook. Left hook squarely on the jaw, and Bumphus went down. Everybody says you got to hit a southpaw with a right. There's the left hook. Bumphus had dropped his right hand, vulnerable, and his legs just went out. And as I saw him lying on the canvas, it was obvious he had no control of his legs. There are the Hatchers happy. Mad Dog is a world champion. TKO in the 11th round, and shortly Al Bernstein should be with the new world's champion. So much of a melee above us that I cannot even see Al. There he is. There he is. Can you get him? Do you want the announcement? Fine and dandy. Let's first have the announcement of the decision.
35 seconds of the 11th round. The winner by technical knockout is the referee. Johnny LWWC stops this bout. And the new junior welterweight champion of the World Boxing Association, Gene Mad Dog.
All right, Mad Dog Hatcher is now with Al Bernstein. Al can you hear me? It's all yours.
Okay, we are here with Gene Hatcher in what can only be described as a chaotic situation in the ring. First of all, Gene, did you think Bumphus was hurt sufficiently enough to stop the fight, even though, of course, it's not your decision?
Yes, sir. I thought he was terribly hurt, and he was hanging on every chance he got. And when your fighter's hanging on like that, that means he's hurt, and he just didn't want to let go and fall, because he knew if he let go, he'd fall. And when you're hurt that bad to fall, you're hurt bad enough to stop the fight.
Now, you landed a good left hook. I thought you were trying to load up on your punches, and you weren't working on the inside. Did you feel some desperation at that point?
In the early rounds, until right the 10th, I finally decided that I was going to start boxing this guy. I quit trying to one-shot him, because the first round, I caught him with that good right hand, and that set me off wrong. I was trying to knock him out too early.
All right, let's take a look at that, Gene, and let's see how you got the knockout and the left hook and the right that you hit him with. So let's take a look at it right now, and you comment.
Al, I'd like to thank the Heavenly Father for this, for that extreme hard left hook. He gave me the ability and the stamina to do this fight the way I wanted to.
All right, as we look at it from another angle, you were trying to get this left hook in all night.
Yeah. Yes. That's what I've been working on in the gym with Robin Blake. Thanks to Robin Blake working with me the last 5.5 weeks, I have perfected the left hook and my right hand. Thank God for Robin Blake for working for me the last 5 weeks.
I have to ask Dave Gorman, your manager, surely there will be much controversy about this win. Do you think it will taint the win at all?
I don't care how much controversy there is. We got us a champion, and Gene knocked hell out of him with that hook. He had him hurt. The guy couldn't even get on his feet. What else are they going to do? Let him fight crawling around on his knees?
Okay, Ron Hatcher, your father, this has got to be a proud moment for you, Ron. This is Johnny Bumphus coming in, congratulating Gene Hatcher. A show of class and sportsmanship by Johnny. A tough loss, certainly, for him and both these fighters. And while we have Johnny Bumphus here, if you don't mind, John, we'd like to get a comment or two from you. Obviously, that left hook had you hurt. I guess you were very upset that the fight was stopped. I've got to ask you, did that left hook hurt you sufficiently?
Oh, yes, I was hurt, but it was nothing that I couldn't come back from.
You felt you could have held on and weathered the rest of the round?
He threw me down. I was trying to grab him, and he threw me down.
You were
Look, can I see that again?
Well, we may get a chance to look at the end of the fight. We showed the portion where you were knocked down with the left hook, and you wobbled to the canvas. We are trying to get that up. I thought that he was not getting to you early in the fight. He was a little bit desperate, but he did get that left in.
Yeah, he caught me with a left hook. I was hurt, but
were you doing what you wanted to do in this fight?
Oh, yes. I was boxing him, doing all things I wanted to. He caught me with a left hook, right.
All right, let's take a look.
That I couldn't, come back from.
Let's take a look. Let's take a look. Let's take a look now at when the fight was stopped. Lou Duva's here. He's very upset. Here it is.
Now let's grab on. He pushed me down. See, he's pushing me.
All right, now we're looking at the action, and you say you believe that was a push.
That's right. See, I was grabbing on, and he went like that.
Okay, how much trouble do you feel you were in at that point? You felt you could have continued?
Oh, yes, without a doubt. You saw I got up and tried to get back to fighting. I wasn't hurt that bad.
Okay, so you did feel that you could have continued. I guess we have to get Lou Duva. Lou, I know this is a difficult moment for you. Turn there, and I know that you're upset about this decision. What do you feel motivated the referee to stop this fight?
Because Johnny was floundering, and he was floundering, but he wasn't hurt, understand? What the guy was doing was wrestling him, roughing him down. He wrestles Johnny down. He hits him when he's down. LWBA don't do a damn thing about it. He makes him get up, understand? And then he stops the fight in the clinch. God done it. That's not fair. It's not fair.
All right, obviously you're upset about this. Did you feel that Johnny was winning the fight at that point?
Absolutely. He was walking away with the fight. It was no contest, for Christ's sakes. It was no contest. He got a little careless. He dropped his hands. He started to punch him. Look, we know the guy's a good puncher. We know he's a strong fighter. We wanted Johnny to box him. That's all. But he wasn't hurt. He was not hurt. I'm telling you, he wasn't hurt. He should have disqualified him or give Johnny a rest when he hit him when he was down.
Okay, Lou Duva and Johnny Bumphus obviously very upset about this win for Gene Hatcher, but Gene Hatcher is the new junior welterweight champion. Let's go back to Bill Major at ringside.
You know, watch the wrestling. Your comment, Al.
Well, Hatcher lands a good left and a right. Now, at this point, Hatcher is in some trouble. There's no question about that. But you see, he slipped the right. Now he's holding. Now, at this point, Bumphus was trying to hold on. He's obviously in trouble. Now, he will fall down in a moment or two because he's off balance. But what the Duvas contend, and there he's trying to get away from the referee, and that may be why he fell. What the Duvas contend is that Bumphus was in trouble, but not in enough trouble for it to be stopped. Another angle will show us more graphically what happened. Hatcher was still landing punches, but Bumphus, as you see, was able to slip that right hand. It's the timing here that I think has created the controversy. Maybe, and also, by the way, we were near the end of that round, so Bumphus was very close to surviving that round. Who knows what 1 minute would have done for him.
Well, my difficulty with any of that, and we'll get back to that in a moment, I just want to tell you the Cat Sports Night of Champions.
Stone Bramble has brought more than his share of color to his matchup.